Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Mormon Atheist. Okay, Apostate Congregation, today is December 21st, 2025. Happy winter solstice. Okay, so I hope you guys have been enjoying this marathon run that we've had today. This, I believe, is the fifth episode today. Today alone this will be the fifth episode. This will be the last episode for today because I am spent. All right, I brought to you guys a ton of stuff today, a lot to ponder, a lot to think about, a lot to go over. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Okay, so this is a series. All right, this is going to be chapter 4, episode 6. All right. I'm calling it chapter 4 because there's no chapters in this book, Illustrations on Masonry. All right. I call it chapters in reference to the videos, the episodes, because episode 1 and 2 is the introduction, right? So we go over the dedication page, and then we go over the introduction. And that takes the first and second video. And then the third video is chapter 1. Okay. But I recommend do not skipping the first two videos because the first two videos are the context of the book, right? So if you skip the first two videos, you legit have no idea what we're even talking about. All right. So it's very important. I say this in all my videos, Apostate Congregation, to read the introductions and the preface, how important that is. Okay. So this video is a continuation of page 26. All right. Follow along with the videos. I'm going to create a playlist, and we're going to, tonight, I'll create a playlist and put all these videos in a playlist. And then because I got more, we're only on page 26, and there's 116 pages. So we're on page 26, and this is the seventh video or the sixth video in total for already just this one book. Okay, so let's continue on page 26. Now, to kind of recap from page 26, we just got done talking about the two words, right? Union and truth, right? And then they explained them. Truth is this, union is that, right? Okay, so where we left off was at the bottom of page 26. It says, Master to Senior Deacon. Now, in the last video, I read this part and I said, this is where we're going to stop. This is what's coming up. And I read this. So if you're following along, you know exactly where we're at in the book. Okay. So, Master to Senior Deacon, you will conduct this candidate back from whence he came and invest him of what he has been divested, and let him return for further instruction. The candidate is then conducted to the preparation room and invested of what he had been divested. Okay, and invested of what he had been divested, and returns to the northeast corner of the lodge. Okay, the cornerstones, etc. Right, these sorts of things, right? And it's taught how to stand upright like a man. when and where the following charge is or ought to be delivered to him, though it is omitted 9 times out of 10, as are near one half of the ceremonies. All right? I gotta take a drink of my electrolyte water. I had to change over to electrolyte water because I've been talking so much today, apostates congregation. Okay, like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get back to it. Enough about me and my dumb water. Master to candidate. Brother, as are you now initiated into the first principles of Masonry. Okay, remember, this is a new episode, so the newcomers, we are talking about speculative Freemasonry, the religious institution of Masonry, what the entire anti-Masonic movement is all about, okay? I congratulate you on having been accepted into this ancient and honorable order, right? He's talking about the operative order, right? The operative is Masonry of old, the Templars. It's dead. That's what he's telling you. This is all dead. This new religious institution of Masonry is acting out this new thing called speculative Freemasonry. And it's a religious institution. And these are the initiations into the honorable order. You understand me? Ancient, right? And so when you correlate this to Mormonism, right, they're filling in that gap of the ancient order, right? Nephi, right? The ancients, right? First Nephi, the language of the Jews, my father, all this kind of stuff, right? I mean, this is all in the Book of Mormon, apostate congregation. They just change it, they alter it, they make a story out of it. You understand? So you can read the Book of Mormon and you'll see this stuff all throughout the Book of Mormon. It's really quite fascinating. Ancient, as having subsisted from the immemorial, and honorable, as tending in every particular, so to render all men who will become comfortable to its principles. No institution was ever raised on a better principle or more solid foundation, nor were ever more excellent rules and useful maxims laid down than are inculcated in the several Masonic lectures. Okay, do you understand that? Rewind that and listen to that again. Okay. The greatest and best of men in all ages have been encouragers and promoters of the art, the missionaries, all right? And have never deemed it derogatory to their dignity to level themselves with the fraternity, right? They never look at it as derogatory. Remember the early days, right? They don't pay these missionaries, right? They would, Joseph Smith would send them out with nothing, and they had to survive on their own, right? This is in all the books. Apostates, you've been reading these books, you know these stories, right? And they never thought it derogatory to their dignity, right? In all the books, they all say none of these missionaries had issues with being destitute, right? To level themselves with the fraternity, extend their privileges, and patronize their assemblies. There are 3 duties which, as a Mason, you are charged to inculcate: to God, your neighbor, and yourself. To God, in never mentioning his name. but with that reverential awe that is due from a creature to his creator, to implore his aid in all your laudable undertakings, and to esteem him as the chief good to your as and to esteem him as the chief good. Number 2, to your neighbor, in acting upon the square, right? You remember the square and the compass, acting upon the square, and doing unto him as you wish he should do unto you, the golden rule, right? And to yourself in avoiding all irregularities or impudence, which may impair your faculties, all right? Don't put yourself in a bad situation, all right? Take care of you and yours first. Or debase the dignity of your profession. A zealous attachment to these principles will ensure public and private esteem, right? The confidence. It's all about. It's not secret. It's sacred. All right. In the state, you are to be a quiet and peaceable subject, true to your government and just to your country. You are not to countenance disloyalty. Do you see the flip right there? True to your government and just to your country, you are not to countenance disloyalty. Okay? Your loyalty is to the church first and foremost, right? But faithfully submit to legal authority and conform with cheerfulness to the government of the country in which you live, right? But you see that play on words though, right? The loyalty is what's important here. Everything else is kind of secondhand, like circumstance, happenstance stuff, right? I believe in the government, do what they want, abide by the laws, follow the rules, but your loyalty is to us. Do you understand? You see that play on words, okay? In your outward demeanor, be particularly careful to avoid censure or reproach, right? I mean, this is like the playbook. This is the Mormon apologetic playbook right here. Although your frequent appearance at our regular meetings is earnestly, page 28. Is that the right word, earnestly? Yeah, earnestly. Okay, listen to this. In Mormonism, what happens to new members? Okay, new members that come into the church, what happens to them if they don't have the proper clothing, the proper attire, the suit and tie, the white shirt, the overcoat, the blazer, the navy blue or the black blazer with the slacks? And, what do? They get ridiculed because their appearance, right? Your appearance to signify that you're a Mormon is everything, right? I've been to churches where I didn't want to, like I flat out told them, I will dress nice and respectfully, but I do not want to wear those clothes. Okay, and I did. I dressed nice. I didn't wear jeans or anything, but I dressed nice and respectable. And I got completely ridiculed for it by the same person, the same guy, every Sunday for like a solid month. And it was because of him that I stopped going to that particular church. I was like, F this guy, So this stuff is real, okay? And then you can take this to being an apostate, being gay, being trans, being a non-believer, being whatever. The list goes on, right? The list goes on. Okay. So, all right, let's keep going. All right, so page 27. At the bottom of page 27, in your outward demeanor, be particularly careful to avoid censure or reproach. Although your frequent appearance at our regular meetings is earnestly solicited, you got to show up to church. Yet it is not meant that Masonry should interfere with your necessary vacations. Remember how they cut it? They cut the day into 3 parts, right? And your vacations is what comes after your daily preaching, your first 8 hours. Your second 8 hours, they call your vacations. Your third 8 hours are for your refreshment and sleep, okay? For these are on no account to be neglected, right? You got to show up. Your vacations, right? Neither are you to suffer your zeal for the institution to lead you into argument with those who, through ignorance, what do Mormons say, right? Anytime any Mormon argues with you, you're ignorant, you're stupid, you're, whatever, right? Through ignorance may ridicule it, right? I mean, this is such a playbook. At your leisure hours, that you may improve in Masonic knowledge, you are to converse with the well-informed brethren, stay within the cult, who will be always as ready to give as you will be to receive information. Finally, keep sacred and violable the mysteries of the order, the magic of the order, as these are to distinguish you from the rest of the community. Right? This is cultic. Do you understand me? And to mark your consequences among Masons. If in the circle of your acquaintance you find a person desirous of being initiated into Masonry, be particularly attentive not to recommend him, unless you are convinced he will conform to our rules, that the honor, glory, and reputation of the institution may be firmly established, and the world at large convinced of its good effects. What are they doing with right now? It's December 21st right now. What is in all of the news channels right now? All of the ex-Mormon news channels, the giving machines. All right. If in the circles of your acquaintance you find a person desirous of being initiated into Masonry / the church, be particularly attentive not to recommend him, unless you are convinced he will conform to our rules, that the honor, glory, and reputation of the institution may be firmly established. And here's the kicker. And the world at large convinced of its good effects. Okay? You are a representation of the church. As a Mormon, you are a representation of the church. As a speculative Mason, the religious institution of Masonry, you are a representative as an entered apprentice of the church. Do you understand me? And as a Mason, just in general. But it starts with the entered apprentice, okay? And the whole idea is to make everybody think that this is some grandiose thing, that we need to be a part of this. Okay? That is the deception, right? The twist. Okay, what's our time? All right, let's keep going. The work of the evening being over, I will proceed to give a description of the manner of closing the lodge. It is a very common practice in lodges to close a lodge of entered apprentices and open a lodge of fellow crafts. Okay, pay attention to these words. These are the different levels of Masonry. Okay. And open a lodge of fellow crafts, and close that and open a Master Mason's lodge, all in the same evening. Okay? So you have entered apprentice lodge, fellow craft lodge, Master Mason lodge. Okay, these are the three levels, all in the same evening. Some brother generally make a motion that the lodge be closed. It being seconded. What happens in Mormonism? You make a motion, I second that motion, and carried. The master to the junior deacon, brother, junior, give one rap which calls up both deacons, the first as well as the last, as the first as well as the last care of a mason. Let me just say that again. I messed that up. The master to the junior deacon, brother junior, giving one rap which calls up both deacons, the first as well as the last care of a mason. It's a question. Answer. To see the lodge tiled, worshipful. Tiled is spelled T-Y-L-E-D, tiled. And also in the previous videos, earlier in the pages, I referred to the tiler. The tiler is T-Y-L-E-R. Okay. Master to junior deacon. Attend to that part of your duty and inform the tiler that we are about to close this lodge of entered apprentice masons, and direct him to tile accordingly. The junior deacon steps into the door and gives 3 raps, which are answered by the tiler with 3 more. The junior deacon then gives one rap, which is also answered by the tiler by 1. The junior deacon then opens the door, delivers his message, and resumes his place in the lodge and says, "The door is tiled, worshipful." Master to junior deacon, by whom? Answer, by a master mason without the door, armed with the proper implements of his office. Now, I just had a thought, apostate congregation. When I went to the jail in Missouri, okay, the Liberty Jail, the door in that jail is halfway open. I think I have pictures of that. This just popped in my head as I'm reading this, right? Okay, so I'm going to have to go back. That's something I'm going to have to go back and look at, because I want to say that there was a story. I don't remember. That was like a year ago. I did that like a year ago. And that I went there. So I'm going to have to like revisit that through my pictures and stuff like that. And because I took a whole bunch of photos of that. And I want to say that door is like half open. And there's a whole story as to why that door is half open. And I don't remember though offhand, but that I just thought of that while I was reading this. Okay, anyways, let's keep going. What page are we on? We are now going to page 29. What's our time? Okay, let's keep going, apostates. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This channel will never be monetized, so the only way you can support the Mormon Atheist is to like the videos, share them, hit the bell because I come on at total random times. Subscribe to the channel, obviously. Share the videos, tell your friends about these books, read these books. And yeah, so let's keep going. Master to Junior Deacon, we are on page 29 of William Morgan's Illustrations of Masonry. Page 29. Master to Junior Deacon, his business there? Answer: to keep off all cowens and eavesdroppers, and see that none pass or repass without permission from the chair. Remember the wording, right? Some call it the chair. The master is also referred to as the chair, okay? This is where your pencils and papers are coming in handy. You're keeping track of this as we go along, all right? Master to Junior Deacon, your place in the lodge? Brother Junior? Answer: at the right hand of the senior warden in the west, we are closing the lodge. Master to Junior Deacon, your duty there? Answer: to wait on the worshipful master and wardens, act as their proxy in the active duties of the lodge, and take charge of the door. Right? This is just reminding me of the jail. I'm just having like Liberty Jail flashbacks. Okay, for some reason the Liberty Jail is really like coming through to me right now. Master to Junior Deacon, the senior deacon's place in the lodge? Answer: at the right hand of the worshipful master in the east. Master to Senior Deacon, your duty there? Brother Senior? Answer: to wait on the worshipful master and wardens, act as their proxy in the active duties of the lodge, attend to the preparations and introduction of candidates, receive and clothe all visiting brethren. All right, that's the senior deacon, right? That's his job, the senior deacon. Master to Senior Deacon, the secretary's place in the lodge? Answer: at your left hand, worshipful. Master to secretary, your duty there? Brother Secretary. Okay, now, when you're listening to this and when you go back and you're reading your Testaments of Solomon, okay, this is the same style of questioning that Solomon does to the demons. Okay, the way this question and answer is, all right? So this is all correlated. Do you understand? It's fascinating when you put this stuff together. So this question and answer motif, right? Solomon is doing it to the same thing. Hiram goes out and gets the demons. He throws the ring, right? The ring is the pentagram. The seal of Solomon, that is a pentagram, okay? And it's a ring, and he throws it at the belly of the demons, okay? And when they're brought back, Solomon does this same type of question and answer, all right? Master to secretary, your duty there, brother secretary. Your duty there, brother secretary? Answer: duly to observe the master's will and pleasure, record the proceedings of the lodge, transmit a copy of the same to the Grand Lodge, if required, receive all monies and money bills from the hands of the brethren, pay them over to the treasurer, and take his receipt for the same, mastered to the secretary. The treasurer's place in the lodge, answer, at the right hand of the worshipful master, master to treasurer. Also, apostate congregation, remember, these are the same questions that were at the opening of the lodge. Okay? So this is legit how the Mormon church is set up, right? On the inside, on a church house level, right? On a ward level, your ward clerk. This is what we're talking about, right? The secretary, the treasurer, these folks, right? Master to treasurer, your business there, brother treasurer, answer, duly to observe the worshipful master's will and pleasure. Think of the worshipful master. All right, we're talking about the grand master here. So think of him as the prophet, right? The grand master is the prophet. Receive all monies and money, bills from the hands of the secretary. Keep a just and accurate account of the same. Pay them out by order of the worshipful master. Page 30. And consent of the brethren. What's our time, congregation? We are burning through this one. Okay, consent of the brother. Master to the treasurer. The junior warden's place in the lodge. Answer, in the south, worshipful. Master to junior warden. Your business there, brother junior. Answer, as the sun in the south at high meridian is the beauty and the glory of the day. So stands the junior warden in the south. At high 12, the better to observe the time. Call the crafts from labor to refreshment, superintend them during the hours thereof. See that none convert the purpose. See that none convert the purposes of refreshment into that of excess or intemperance. They don't want them to get drunk. They're all trashed, right? Call them on again in due season, that the worshipful master may have honor, and they pleasure the prophet thereby, or pleasure and profit thereby. Sorry, I got Mormonism on the brain. All right, so are you understanding, apostate congregation? At this level in the day, right? We're 7 videos in or whatever now. Are you seeing the patterns? Are you starting to see the patterns now? You guys are following along. You're commenting. All right. You're subscribing. Thank you, all you new subscribers. All right. Welcome to the apostate congregation. Everybody is very much welcome here. Okay, so let's keep going. We are on page 30. The master to the junior warden. Okay, here Morgan is talking to the reader. I wish the reader to take particular notice that in closing the lodge, the master asked the junior warden as follows. The master's place in the lodge, and in opening the lodge, he asked the senior warden the same question. The master's place in the lodge, answer, in the east, worshipful, master to junior warden. Okay, so that's a side note. That's one of these side notes that are missed in scholarship and in the story of William Morgan and these things like that. Let me read that again. This is a side note where Morgan is saying to the reader, okay, I wish the reader to take particular notice that in closing the lodge, the master asks the junior warden as follows. The master's place in the lodge, okay, that's what he asks in closing. And in the opening, he asks the senior warden the same question. Okay? So these are side notes that you got to pay attention to, apostate congregation. This is context. Okay? So in all my videos, when I tell you, you have to read this stuff in context. Okay? This right here is context. And this is what is removed out of the story. Do you understand me? This is why people think this is such a silly, oh, William Morgan, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's stuff like this that is missing from the story that has been removed. Okay? Okay, let's keep going. The master's place in the lodge? Answer. In the east, worshipful. Master to junior warden. His duty there? Answer. As the sun rises in the east to open and adorn the day, think of the magic. So presides the worshipful master in the east to open and adorn his lodge. Set his crafts to work, right? Your crafts, the craft is the magic. So you're setting all of your crafts to work. You're setting your spells, your things out into the world, right? You're setting all of this stuff, right? That's what ceremonial magic is, right? With good and wholesome laws, or cause the same to be done. Master to junior warden, the senior warden's place in the lodge. Answer. In the west, worshipful. Master to senior warden. Your business there, brother senior. Answer. As the sun sets in the west to close the day, so stands the senior warden in the west to assist the worshipful master in opening and closing the lodge. Take care of the jewels and implements. See that none be lost, right? Remember, what are the jewels? Okay. It's in our previous videos. You have to be writing this shit down, follow along, take notes. Okay, this stuff is deep, it's heavy. You have to start from the beginning and follow, right? You can't just jump in, right? Pay the crafts their wages, if any be due, and see that none go away dissatisfied. The master now gives 3 raps. When all the brethren rise, and the master asks, are you all satisfied? The answer in the affirmative by giving the due guard. Remember what the due guard is. Should the master discover that any declined giving it, inquiry is immediately made why it is so. And if any member is dissatisfied with any part of the proceedings, right, to all those who abstain, all those who oppose, or with any brother, the subject is immediately investigated. Master to the brethren. Master to the brethren. Attend to giving the signs, right? As I do so, do you give them downwards, which is by giving the last in the opening, the first in the closing. Okay? You got to pay attention. They try to skip you up with these The first is the last, and the last is the first. I am, therefore I am, right? These things, right? In closing on this degree, right, we're talking about the entered apprentice. You first draw your right hand across your throat, as hereinbefore described. Remember the oath, right? And then hold your two hands over each other as before described. This is the method pursued through all the degrees. And when opening on any of the upper degrees, all their signs of all the preceding degrees are given before you give the signs of the degree on which you are opening. That's a mouthful right there. Okay, rewind it and listen to that again. That's a mouthful. This being done, the master proceeds. I now declare this lodge of entered apprentice masons regularly closed in due and ancient form. All right, ancient form. Brother Junior Warden, please inform Brother Senior Warden and request him to inform the brethren that it is my will and pleasure that this lodge of entered apprentice masons be now closed and stand closed until our next regular communication, unless a case or cases of emergency shall require earlier convention, of which every member shall be notified, during which time it is seriously hoped and expected that every brother will demean himself as becomes a free and accepted Mason. Right? These words matter. A free and accepted Mason is the new Masonry. That is the wording, the coding, the language, right, of this new speculative Masonry. They refer to themselves as free and accepted Masons. Okay? The operative Masonry is dead. Operative Masons are the Templar Masons. That's dead. The Templars are dead. This new speculative Masonry, okay? All right, I lost my place, damn it. I totally went off and I lost my place. Okay, we're getting close. This method pursued being the degrees. This being done, the master proceeds. I now declare this lodge open in case of emergency. Free and accepted Masons. Here we go. Junior Warden to Senior Warden. Brother Senior, it is the worshipful master's will and pleasure that this lodge of entered apprentice Masons be closed. All right. Now, remember, in early Mormonism, the prophet was legit part of this entire thing, right? The prophet is the master, the master. Then you have junior and senior, right? We're going to get heavy into this when we get into Southwick. William Morgan is just the introduction. Introduction. Okay. Once we get into Bernard, it's hands up. It's like we're blowing shit off. Like we are blowing it out of the water, right? Southwick is heavy. Okay. So we'll get into those guys later after we're done with Morgan. All right. So let's keep going. Brother Senior, It is the worshipful master's will and pleasure that this lodge of entered apprentice masons be closed and stand closed until our next regular communication, unless a case of emergency. We've already read all this. Free and accepted masons. Senior warden to the brethren. Brethren, you have heard the worshipful master's will and pleasure as communicated to me by Brother Junior. So let it be done. Master to the junior warden. Brother Junior, how do masons meet? Answer, on the level, right? The level and the square of the compass. Master to senior warden, how do masons part? Answer, on the square. Master to junior, master to the junior and senior wardens. Since we meet on the level, brother junior, and part on the square, brother senior, okay? Brother junior represents the square, or brother junior represents the level. Brother senior represents the square, okay? Let me read that again. Master to the junior and senior wardens. Since we meet on the level, brother junior, and part on the square, brother mason, brother senior. So let us ever meet and part in the name of the Lord. Here follows a prayer sometimes used. Page 32. Here follows a prayer sometimes used. What's our time? Okay, we'll probably have enough time to get through this. To the brethren, let us pray. Supreme architect of the universe, accept our humble praises for the many mercy and blessings which thy bounty has conferred upon us, and especially for this friendly and social intercourse. Pardon, we breach thee, whatever thou hast seen amiss in us since we have been together, and continue to us thy presence, protection, and blessing. Make us sensible of the renewed obligations we are under to love thee supremely and to be friendly to each other, right? This is all about protecting the people within the cult, protecting the people within the church, right? Protecting and maintaining and, supporting the people within the religious institution, right? That's what this whole thing is designed and set up to do. Look at the church today, what it is designed and set up to do today. It does an extremely horrible job at it, but nonetheless, it is still designed and set up to do these things. May all our irregular passions be subdued, and may we daily increase in faith, hope, and charity. What is Mormonism? Faith, hope, and charity. Look at all the Christmas things that are happening right now. That giving machine, faith, hope, and charity, okay? But more especially in the charity, which is the bond of peace. The church is horrible at charity. So, hey, church, get back to your Masonic ways here. All right? You're slipping. You're slipping, LDS church. You're slipping. That through the merits of the Redeemer, we may finally obtain thy promises and find an acceptance through the gates. All right? So, All right, you're gonna buy your accept. All right, let me read that again. May all our irregular passions be subdued, and may we daily increase in faith, hope, and charity, but more especially in that charity which is the bond of peace and perfection of every virtue. May we so practice thy precepts that through the merits of the Redeemer we may finally obtain thy promises and find an acceptance through the gates and into the temple and city of our God. So mote it be. Amen. In italics, it says, a benediction oftener, that's legit what it says, oftener, remember this is 1827, oftener used at closing than the preceding prayer. This is a long one, apostate congregation. I'm going to stop it right there. We will pick up on the next prayer on the next episode. Okay, and so how we have been doing this, okay, we are on page 32 in William Morgan's Illustrations of Masonry. All right, so I'm going to read you the first paragraph. So in the next video, I will reread that paragraph and we will pick up where we left off, okay? All right, so here is the paragraph that we are going to pick up on in the next video. This is the second prayer, a benediction oftener used at closing than the preceding prayer. Okay, now here is the preceding prayer. This one is less used, okay? May the blessing of heaven rest upon us and all regular Masons. May brotherly love prevail. Where is the city of brotherly love? And every moral and social virtue cement us. Remember the word cement. Cement is an important word in Masonry. So mote it be. Amen. After the prayer, the following charge ought to be delivered, but it is seldom attended to. In a majority of lodges, it is never attended to. That's where we stop for tonight. For today, this is our last episode. We will pick up again on this paragraph in the next video, in the next episode. So that's where we're going to pick up at. All right, so you can follow along. Every video so far, I've done that. So you can just follow right along, pick right back up where we left off, and continue the conversation. Okay, because this is one long giant conversation right here. Okay, so we are going to continue tomorrow. Well, maybe not even tomorrow. I just did what is this, the 5th or 6th episode in one day. Okay, my throat is starting to hurt. All right, we're going to pick up on the next episode on page 32. The second prayer I just read to you. May the blessings of heaven rest upon us and all regular Masons. May brotherly love prevail and every moral and social virtue cement us. So mote it be. Amen. That's how we're going to start the next lodge meeting. All right, apostate congregation, thank you for entertaining me for today. Today is Sunday, December 21st, and you guys are rock stars. Thank you, Apostate Congregation. All of you new subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to the congregation. In the words of the late, great Solomon Southwick, Apostate Congregation. Come on, you all know it. What is it? The ashes of Morgan will rise again. And here we are, Apostate Congregation. Here we are. We are William Morgan. We are William Morgan, Apostate Congregation. Like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. And have a lovely evening.